that rocking. Let's get that going. And we're ready for some Godcast. No, ladies and gentlemen, you are not seeing some Parent Trap type trickery where one actor plays two people. Although we are both very handsome and tattooed, I'm Joe Tyler from Joe the Show. This is Jake the Barber. Say hi to the people, Jake.
Hi, people. How we doing? Where's this first camera? First camera's that one?
Yeah, the glowing one up there,
Okay.
and then that's a special one just for you.
Okay.
So I know what the 30-year-old guy's like, but maybe a close shot of you is what the ladies like. I'll pull in the lady viewers. And that's what this is all about, is bringing in demographics. I've yet to reach the children, and I have no idea how to reach the ladies. Like, at all. I'm trying my hardest. I put out pitches for, like, here's what kind of easygoing guy I am. Maybe it's all the rainbow colors. But maybe that's something you can speak on, Jake. You're the closest you can get to being a gynecologist without having a degree. Can you speak on how to reel in the catfish?
Well, the catfish, it can be misconstrued to like the show Catfish.
I do.
Right. So are we talking about catfish, or are we talking about just women in general?
I was alluding to female fish, but yeah, women in general, or extremely effeminate men.
Well, I've noticed in my studies that we're in this era where everyone's just kind of fucked up, and women seem to really like a project, right? Mm. So if you put in front of them a project or like a broken person, they seem to want to fix it. I've noticed.
Like if you put out bread, lunch meats, and mayonnaise, they'll just be like, "Oh my God, I can make a sandwich."
No, because I don't want to assume. I don't want to assume gender roles in the kitchen area. But I will say that I've noticed an influx of people that are drawn to broken individuals. So it's like, very nurturing type. Might be like, wow, this dude's a fucking mess. Like, I'm gonna save him because he's kind of cute, and then whatever. I'm not saying that's my story. I'm just saying I've noticed an influx of these behaviors in women, and I've noticed an influx of broken men around. There's a lot of broken people. COVID doesn't help with that. Depression is at an all-time high.
Men's mental health, very serious.
Yes, very serious subject. So to wrap that question, I think that you can just say that your life's in shambles and you need some assistance, and maybe the right girl will come around, or right guy might come around and be like, I can fix you. But then the rest is up to you. Do you take this assistance and get help, or do you just stay fucked up? Because there is an expiration date on that. They will say, all right, you're unsavable, I'm gone. So
I can attest to that.
Yes. I've done it myself. I've dabbled, so.
Well, that's the allure in the first place, is that they're like, you know what? You seem like a good guy. I get that you're broken. This will be, an interesting project, and you're cute. There is an expiration date, but like,
you have a window.
As a man, you have to realize that that's your appeal at a certain point.
Yes. No, well, the thing is, I've noticed that the guys that have it all together, they look good, they're great guys. They don't lie. They don't cheat. They have money. They have morals. There are very few of those. Number one, there's always something missing in this, spider web of things that women want, right? So,
is it usually money?
I think as someone gets older, I think as women get older, they realize the importance of money, and when they want to go to an island and take that photo where like she's walking in the ocean and like it's his hand behind her, right? Like that's $3,000 to get there, right? Or they want to renovate their kitchen, that's $30,000. They want a fucking French bulldog, that's $6,000. They want to drive a BMW, that's $60,000. So I think that women will make certain adjustments on who they choose based off of their income. Some women don't care about money at all. Most people who say they don't care about money at all do a little bit, but some don't care at all, and some just want like a healthy, stable relationship. But I feel like every woman gets bored of that to some degree and wants like a piece of shit for like a second or something like that. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think anyone's actually winning. I think that you can be a loser and get laid. I think you can be a very rich man and get laid. It might be easier for you because you can afford expensive bottles of champagne and a section in Miami and tons of coke. It's really easy to get laid, right? And the caliber of women's probably much higher. But I think it's, you know,
I think the trajectory you're talking about is, you know, men, especially now during COVID, their mental health deteriorating, that the quality of men is getting lower, but the acceptance that women have for these men is getting higher because what else is there besides unicorns?
Yes, but I also think that there is an expectation of what men should be from women that don't really offer much, you know? So like, I feel like some women will see men and be like, I have this expectation of like Prince Charming, but they're like, you know, lower level here, and they, you know, they have whatever, so much baggage, or they don't make their own money, or they don't have their own hobbies or friends. And it's vice versa. Guys could be like 500 fucking pounds and like eating cheeseburgers every night and like farting in the bathtub and laughing and fucking want like the most beautiful woman in the world. So I think it's like the standards need to be adjusted a little bit. I think people need to put on their fucking glasses and like realize who they are before they choose their partner. You know, I think people need to look at themselves before they choose their partner and be like, you know what, I'm not going to outkick my coverage today. I'm just going to play the field how I'm supposed to. You know, so I think that's also an issue that we as a generation struggle with, where it's like, I don't have shit to offer, so I'm gonna fucking look at you to get what I need. But it's like, I think,
because if you're attached to me, then all the good parts of you are now a reflection of me.
Exactly. Or yeah, and that's another way to put it. But yeah, so I think that taking the blinders off would be really beneficial. But with what you said, to touch on that, I think that the acceptance for losers is definitely much higher because we are in the midst of a fucking pandemic. Now we're all, you know, on the upscale on our way out of it. And I think that like all these newly engaged, newly wed, newly fucking baby on the way, new homeowner, new puppy owner is all going to be like, oh fuck, what did I do? Because summer's right around the corner. COVID's about to be a thing of the past because now they're rolling out all the vaccines. Normal people are getting the vaccines, not just first responders, healthcare workers.
Right.
And everyone's going to get a taste of what the world was before and pre-COVID, pre-lockdown, and it's going to be like a shit show. So I think people are going to be like, fuck, I just signed my life away because I thought that the past year was going to be the rest of my life where it was just like nothing to do except hang out with my girl or my boyfriend or whatever. And it's going to be like an influx of like divorces. The pet shelters are going to be fucking jamming because everyone's going to throw their pet because they're like, it's too much work. Now I'm not home all the time. I'm out partying.
Right, now there's stuff to do.
Exactly, now there's stuff to do. So I think that right now the tolerance for fuckery is high because you can tolerate it, but once we go back to like almost completely normal, it's going to be back to like, I need a Prince Charming, I need this, and this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, like right now, people are collecting comfortabilities.
Sure.
You know, because you see it as, yeah, it's short term, but it's not just a week long that you're going to be, you know, not just by yourself, but not how things usually are. So you are collecting like, oh, now's the perfect time to get a pet because I'm here for a year. If I get a boyfriend, I'll spend so much time with them.
Right.
Because
have you ever heard of the term cuffing season?
Yes.
All right. So I think that some people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? COVID has been like a year-long cuffing season. And I think that usually it's like, all right, you know, summer's over. You were, you know, during your hoe phase in the summer. A lot of people tend to have those. And they're like, it's getting cold. It's cuffing season. Like, I need somebody to spend Christmas with.
COVID plus winter?
It's been a year-long cuffing season, and it's about to be an 18-month-long cuffing season by the time we get to summer. And then it's just going to erupt because everyone's just going to go back to doing what they normally do.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a lot of... Basically what I'm saying is, this is to my kings, all right? Don't lose hope, kings. All those chicks all the chicks that you thought were gone forever and they met the man of your dreams or man of their dreams, they're going to be single again. The divorce rate's going to be through the roof.
A couple more months.
I'm talking to my kings here. Hold your head up. Your crown is falling. Okay?
Dude, thanks for putting that in their head, because I have male friends that, like, whether in a relationship or not, like, your mental health is fragile right now, and if there's someone else pulling at your heartstrings, or if you want to be involved with someone else, like, now probably isn't the time to do it. I know for me, I left the relationship the week before COVID exploded.
Oh, wow.
The first week of March was when I moved out of the apartment, right? And since then, like, I've taken myself very seriously. Like, get some money together, because I'm a little bit behind. I have a past. We'll get to that later.
We all have a past.
But just the reflection of how healthy I want to do it and how unhealthy this other person is, like, they were engaged by Christmas. Right now, hey, people watching the show, you are my life right now. This is like what I like focusing on. This, my job, and my children. I'm doing one of those, unless I'm at the gym, because I'm swole as fuck.
I noticed you have a very large chest. I wasn't going to mention anything.
The Laporte dudes are all chest. Unfortunately,
No legs?
No legs. No ass either. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but let me get this out of the way. Yeah,
it's getting there.
Dude, I try, but what are you gonna do? It's genetics. A lot of it's genetics. But the point I was trying to make, I think I remember the point I was trying to make, is that if, COVID definitely, plus cuffing season, you have to be on your fucking toes. Because even if you think you found someone nice, or you have a plan for a couple months of something nice, you forget that people are fucking nuts. You forget how easy it is to fall in line with, being comfortable with someone else. Next thing you know, you have a dog and a baby on the way, and you're engaged. But guess what? Summer's coming around the corner, and fuck, you hate Jersey, but Wildwood sounds real good right about now. So just watch yourself. That's.
I agree wholeheartedly to everything you're saying. It's funny because, when COVID started, March 4th, I was just coming back from Los Angeles. The week before, or 2 weeks before, I was in Fort Lauderdale. And a few days before that was Valentine's Day last year. So I was like, in this really rocky back and forth relationship, very toxic. And a lot of it was self-inflicted. I did a lot of dumb damage to, the relationship.
It takes two.
It takes two. I'm not gonna, I'm not blaming her by any means.
I prerequisite everything I say about negative to other people. I'm a piece of shit too.
Right, and that's the thing. I just wanted to say, I'm not a saint by any means. So Valentine's Day was rocky. We weren't together, and then I went to Fort Lauderdale, and we were together, and then I got back from Fort Lauderdale, and she was supposed to come to LA with me, and this was before the shutdown, right before. No one knew this was going to happen, and we got in a huge fight. She didn't go to LA with me. We then broke up. It was her birthday a few days later, and all this crazy shit happened. I won't get into that, but then COVID happened, and 5 days into shutdown, we decided to give it our best try, and she moved in.
Oh, wow.
It was she moved in 4 days into COVID, and we forced it.
So when you speak against this, it's because
I have experience with it. I have experience with this. I was let's take it all the way. And so she was down with it. And the thing is, we're just two totally different people, and we tried to force for so long that it just became so apparent that we're just not compatible. And to the outside world for a while, everyone's you guys look so great, and me and her are just tearing our hair out. To the point where got the dogs, we're talking about engagements, talking about starting a family, signed a lease to another place, moved in there, and then just broke up. It was after summer, and it was just a bad breakup. And I just see it all so openly in the world of what's going on, the same story. It's people were just COVID, let's move in together, let's do this, and it's just terrible, terrible.
Because it's not a normal relationship, right?
No,
especially if you've already been trying it.
You shouldn't force it. It shouldn't be forced. That relationship shouldn't be forced. And if you find yourself forcing it and trying different tactics and everything, it's pretty obvious that the relationship's never going to work out. As hard as that is, because for me, relationships definitely are like some of the hardest shit I've ever dealt with. Like I just take it really hard, and like I'm not right for months, sometimes even like a year. I'm not fully right, and then like one day you wake up and you're like, I don't care anymore. But like it takes a while. So I get that it's very difficult to get out of a toxic relationship or a marriage or whatever, you know, even like a toxic friendship or something, just toxic people in general. It's very hard to fully remove yourself because you're like, it's 90% bad, but that 10% of bad is good, is amazing. And you think that like, it's that good that you can salvage the rest of the 90% bad. So it's very difficult. But yeah, I think that we're in for a whirlwind of chaos when the summer hits officially. So
for some,
yes.
For the rest of us, it's going to kind of be like, you know, someone went dynamite fishing, you know, and you're just coming up behind them.
There's fish everywhere. Like just, yeah, I mean, I don't know. So,
well, to speak on the quality of men that you touched on earlier, and it obviously not all men. I can't speak to all men. I've met all men, but I was overhearing someone talk the other day. Their girl was blowing them up on their phone, like they were out like 10 times, let's say, right? And try to reason with him. It's like, dude, why do you like? A, why is it to this point? And B, like, why do you let this kind of stuff happen to you? You know? And his answer was, bro, honestly, like, she walks around the house naked, and I kind of forget that like this happens because I go home and you know it's like that.
So to touch on that, I feel like that won't last because people get ugly over time, right? So like gravity, right? The nature of gravity weighs everything down. You also get ugly, right? So everyone ages and just like, you know, visually gets ugly. So
or not as beautiful as you perceive
as they once were. I'll just, you know, so yeah, she might be like really hot and they might have great sex, whatever. But the thing is, like, that like interior beauty, there has to be some sort of like attraction rather than sexual, because I feel like what's gonna happen? Like you bust a couple nuts and then you're just like, oh, I love this girl. Like I don't care that she yells at me or blows me up and tells me to go home. Like I just love her. And then what? It's just like, what else? What else do you do besides have sex? Do you like have conversations? Like do you talk? Like
because when I see these people talk, it's like, well, I don't want to talk to anyone that way. But usually when you nut, there's clarity afterwards.
A medical mystery, a scientific mystery that I've been meaning to have a conversation on for a long time is post-nut clarity. I think we need to switch this little thing, this COVID romance and
bro, this is everything.
To post-nut clarity. Real quick, let's touch on that. And so, let me ask you some of your experiences with post-nut clarity. Okay. From porn to women to whatever, like, you know, I don't know, whatever the fuck you're into. So what is your take on post-nut clarity? What do you think it actually is? That's what I want to know. I've been asking people this question actually recently, a few, because you know I'm in the barber field, so like I see about 14 men from a day from Tuesday to Friday. So it's like, you know, whatever the fuck that is, 28, 56 guys a week.
There's probably 200 mini conversations.
Tons of conversations. Some don't talk. Some are just as fucked up as me. And we like to talk about really weird shit. So post-nut clarity, I want to hear what your thoughts, and I want some experiences
on what it actually is.
Well, your take on it.
I think post-nut clarity, and to dumb it down, I can only speak in terms of things I understand. So let's talk about ice cream. Right? You really want a big ass fucking bowl of ice cream. Fuck the calories, fuck the sugar. I want this fucking bowl of ice cream, right?
And you eat it all.
No, not even. You go to your fridge, you put a little whipped cream on your finger, you taste it. And that's like, wow. I think that's all I didn't need a whole bowl of ice cream. I would have wasted that ice cream.
See, I am the type of person who's like, oh wow, you know, I really want a big ass bowl of ice cream. And then I eat the ice cream. And then I feel like fucking shit, where I'm just like, oh, I'm sick. Like I ate too much ice cream, because my mind is like, you know, as a man, like with testosterone, like raging through your body, you know, and like you see red, nostrils flaring, and then like
A horny man is not a pretty thing.
No, it's a very persistent thing. You know, it's like the force on a horny man is a force to be reckoned with. And then once you
whole wars have been waged.
Wars have been fought because of a horny man wanting the princess from the other village, you know? And when you bust that nut, is it worth it?
Imagine a war general like winning the war and then having sex with the princess, like, ah, shit.
Yeah,
a million people died for this?
Yeah, this is terrible. Like, what is this?
God, I'm gonna write all their families. Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of different types of post-nut clarity.
Yeah.
It's all generally the same thing, but it goes in different brackets. So like you have let's start with the home care, right?
Mm-hmm.
The do-it-yourself job, right? So you're 96 pages deep on Pornhub. Mm-hmm. You're a fucking spooky level of horny. Okay, you're in you're
niche horny.
You're in the danger zone of horny. Like you're fucking, you know,
come out of your ears.
96 pages. You have not found the fucking video that you want to give your fucking juice to. Mm. You know what I mean? And you're fucking really in some weird shit. Now you're crawling in the crevices of the internet and the darkest, deepest places of the web. And then you bust that nut. You finally get off, and you just feel disgusted. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, God, I'm sorry. You start praying. You know. Now, let's talk about the ex-girlfriend or like the antichrist person that you know.
To speak on the home job first, like that's usually what I do. Like especially in the past year, if someone hits me up and is like, "Hey cutie, whatever, blah blah blah," and yes, I respond to "Hey cutie, blah blah blah." I'll like all right, like let me bust a nut real quick first, and then I can respond appropriately. And then I'm not.
Have you ever not?
Yes.
Have you ever not busted it up first?
Well, yeah. Yes. I'm like, oh, I'll be over in like an hour.
Yeah. It should be a requirement, I think, because as a guy, you know, you're like talking to a chick, you're working the chick, like you got the angles going. You're like, all right, you know, whatever, you want to do this, and they're always like really flaky, right? Like girls are always like, oh, I have to cancel, and like as a dude, you're like, what the fuck?
That's the game.
I think that more girls would get flaked on if every guy had to jerk off before going out with them.
Like if they were just used to post-nut dudes? Like,
yes. I think girls are post-nut guys.
Oh, shit.
I think girls are post-nut guys. How many spookily horny chicks do you know? 1 out of 10.
My ex, dude, that's it.
1 out of 10.
It's not a lot. It's not, like, you wish there were more in terms of, like, getting laid, but, like, there really isn't. They're pretty on point with like, no, here's my requirements.
1 in 10. 1 in 10. Unless they're drinking tequila, and then it's 10 out of 10. But I think that most sober chicks, let's say sober chicks, are post-nut clarity dudes. Your mentality after post-nut is everything's gross. You're just like, oh yeah, she's all right. Like
you sound like a woman right now.
Exactly. I jerked off earlier.
In the car, on the car ride over here.
I did it just recently, just a few minutes ago.
You blew my mind with that, because I've never looked at it that way. Because I've always looked at it like, oh, maybe because girls don't have less of a sex drive. So it really is like a hard enigma to break. I just think that
they are more choosy. Men are more eager to fuck, you know, less attractive women.
There's more options for women.
There's way more options because men, you know, it's in our nature. We're supposed to reproduce, so naturally we want to have sex, right? So God said, "I'm going to make this feel really good, so you continue to do it." Right? Yeah. If it didn't feel good, you'd be like, "I don't feel like fucking reproducing tonight." Like it doesn't even feel good.
It's like dishes.
Exactly. Like, you know you got to do them, but you don't really want to. So, as men, we're, you know, let's say there's a hot chick right here, right? And she has 100 followers, and 70 of them are dudes. I'd say it's safe to say that 50% of her male followers probably messaged her or contacted her or tried, right? There's a handsome guy right here, right? Mm-hmm. And he has 100 followers, and 70 of them are girls. Maybe 6 message him. You know what I mean? So their number, there's always a guy for a girl to choose from. She could be lonely one night and just go through her message requests and be like, all right, I'll give him a shot. Like, hey, what's
like
up?
a fucking Rolodex.
And the dude will be there in a second, right?
Yeah.
But if he jerks off first, will he? If all of those people in her message request box jerked off for, I'd say the percentage would get much lower. There's still those dudes that are horny as fuck. Like,
right, even if they do jerk off, they're still ready to go.
Dudes that work in the back of pizza shops, they're fucking horny as shit. Different people like that, right? So like, there's a certain subcategory of horny male, and then there's like demon time horny men who like will jerk off 5 times and then go fuck and could have a tensome after. It's like they're a mystery to me because like I get tired.
Right.
You know, because like
you're human.
I'm human.
you're an average human in that sense, but there is the person who's like they won't stop the messages. Like I see girls that like I know personally, they'll post a selfie and then they'll fucking post a screenshot of their inbox and it's like I get cocky after 2 DMs a week later.
I hate that personally. I think that people that do that, because I've seen men do that too, not just women. And I think it's a direct result of how they feel about themselves. They probably hate themselves and they're just like trying to show you that people want them by clowning someone else for shooting their shot.
Like, you don't want me to?
I think I think that's super corny. But I will say that, like, you know, I have friends that are girls and that have shown me their inbox. And I'm talking, dude, I see NFL players, Eagles players, Sixers players, you know, you name it. Like all these fucking blue check marks and shit. And they're
meanwhile,
like,
Demi Lovato's not in my DMs.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, for us as guys, you don't see fucking, you know, Demi Lovato in your fucking DM, Miley Cyrus. Like, it's like, you know, but these dudes will message very ordinary girls that are just like you and me, like no buzz or anything, like just like a normal fucking nurse or whatever. Like she's just super hot and goes to Miami a lot and takes like butt pics and shit.
Right.
And like Joel Embiid will fucking message her and be like, yo, what's up? Can I take you out? So it's like, you know, it's different. It's very different for us as men.
Oh, it definitely is a lot different. And I'm not one of those guys who like, it's very rare that I message, period. But I never persistently message. Like, what would it be like to actually hang out with this person if they're not even listening to like the normal shit you have to say? Anyway, but I understand them not answering regardless because of the experience they've had with other people.
With other guys, yeah. And I mean, you know, they could be in a relationship already that they're private about. They might not check their inbox requests. I mean, there's a ton of things.
Which is none of our fucking business.
No, and a lot of things, a lot of times, like, you just get tired of it. Like, let's say someone fucking 100 people a day asked you how you're doing. By like the 10th one, you're just gonna be like, dude, I'm fine. Like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Or like, you know when you break your arm and every fucking person asks you what happened to your arm and you just get so tired of telling the story because a million people, imagine being like a hot chick or even like an okay looking chick and just having every day fucking 10 dudes hit her up to take them out.
It's like you being asked about your tattoos.
Exactly. It's just like, oh my God, the tattoos hurt. It's like, yes, they fucking hurt. What do you mean? They hurt really bad. I hate
You seen a needle, asshole?
Exactly. Yeah. Have you seen a needle, you fucking prick?
Go get vaccinated. You need a needle.
Yeah.
But to get back to post-nut clarity, I mean, I can just imagine the dudes who like will blow a girl up and be like, what the fuck? Beat off and be like,
damn, unsend.
Yeah, it's my bad.
Unsend message.
I'm gonna send her anonymous flowers to her job.
Maybe.
That like,
say sorry.
Right, and not even sign my name. Just that be a sorry for all of us.
Now let's talk about the other subcategories of post-nut clarity.
Okay.
So we're talking about the forbidden fruit, the toxic relationship that you're out of.
I'm
you
good
both
at this
know
one.
you both know that it's not ready, but you have great sex, right? Or something like that. Or like someone who's married or something, and they're like, you know you shouldn't fuck. You know you shouldn't, but you really want to. I've never done that, by the way. I've never fucked someone's wife. I'm just saying. I'm using, you know, just different.
Gotta cover all grounds.
So then you fuck them, right?
Tell the people you never fucked their wife.
I never fucked your wife. Never! So, like, you bust your nut, right? You go, you know, your stomach's fucking in knots, you're like shaking, you know it's not right, you do it, it feels amazing, and then you're like, oh my God, like, what the fuck did I just do? You know, was it worth it?
Right.
Was it worth it? Going back to your ex, fucking someone's wife, it's fucking the boss's daughter. You know what I mean?
Right.
The king's the king's daughter, like, you know, like, and you're just a Jasper.
Shit you shouldn't be doing, but you find yourself there because you're
horny, spooky horny. Or it's fucking 2 a.m. Last call. You seen a couple hot chicks. They're gone already. They got taken home. You see fucking Sarah Lynn at the end of the bar.
Fucking linebacker.
Yeah, linebacker. 280 pounds. Been fucking raw dogging toilet seats all night, dude.
You're still beautiful. It's just not for me.
Your soul is beautiful. Raw dogging toilet seats all night. Stinks. Fucking smells like BO. Fucking trash day in the summer. Sweaty. Piss. Fucking shit. Didn't wipe that good. You know? And you're trashed. Drunk as fuck, dude. Like, blackout drunk. Horny as a fucking racehorse with a huge dick. And she's like, hey, sugar, like, come to my place. And you're like, all right.
And she actually means sugar because that's what she likes to consume.
She loves sugar. You go to her place. You fuck her. It stinks. It smells bad in the room, okay? She
didn't turn the lights out and she's naked.
It's discolored. All right, we're talking fucking yellow skin.
Green, like cigarette stains.
Green or something. Some unflattering skin tone.
Has gangrene on her.
Has gangrene because she had a hernia and never got it fixed. And then that type of post.
But you're still describing someone that, at the end of the day, depending on how horny you are, is an option.
Yeah.
Hot girls in general look at dudes like that and are like,
but they're post-nut clarity guys.
Yes.
They say, until it's either brunch and they had 100 mimosas, girl brunch at Park, you know, in Rittenhouse Square, and they're fucking going through their options like, I'm gonna get blasted by this guy. Or, you know, it's like they're in fucking Atlantic City at H2Q, whatever the fuck club, and they're drinking tequila, and they're looking around, and, you know, like Jersey Shore staff is there, the fucking crew, and you're like, oh yeah, I wanna fuck this guy, he looks like Pauly D. But sober girls are post-nut clarity guys. All right, moving on.
So yeah, I've been the guy at the bar at last call. I've absolutely been the guy running back to a toxic ex just because I'm fucking horny. I've been those guys, and you know what? I've known going into it that like, hey, this is a type of person, and I'm gonna be this dude tonight. There are times where I beat off before, and I'm like, never mind, cancel. There are times that I beat off, and I'm like, you know what? I committed. Let's do this.
Yeah, I've never done the last call part because I got clean when I was 21, so I really didn't spend much time at the bar. It was a few months. I wasn't there enough. I wasn't really into drinking that much. I was more of like a drug guy. So I didn't spend a ton of time at the bar, but I have done the ex situation 100 times over. And I'm sure she could say the same. My exes could say the same about me.
Yeah.
In a sense of like,
you're the toxic ex that
I'm
they went to because they were
horny. Toxic ex because they wanted to fuck because they're horny. I've definitely hooked up with people that I regretted sober. And that's the thing. Like, I've been clean for almost 7 years, so it's like,
congratulations, dude.
Thank you. And I've done shit sober. So it's like the horny mind, the loaded gun is just as bad as a fifth of fucking vodka sometimes, dude. You don't even think. So I recommend, and I say all this to say this. This one goes out to my kings. I think if you are uncertain about a chick or you're on the fence, just beat off. I beg you, just beat off. Okay? We beg you, just beat off. And then, you know, now we can be on an even playing field with women, which, you know, or men, whatever your preference is, or whatever, other. So
nice. But it doesn't also mean you're going to make the right decision every time.
No,
it's just an aid.
It doesn't. It's a help. It's an aid. There is no guarantee. It's just like a Band-Aid. It helps. Would you rather have a slice with no Band-Aid, or would you have a fucking Band-Aid?
I'd rather have gauze around it.
Gauze.
I don't need that gaping wound.
Gauze and fucking Neosporin. I mean, you know, so it's a preventative measure. It's like Suboxone. Think about that.
Well, the hard thing about where I'm at now personally is that, I'm at the point where I need to be healthy with my decisions with women and shit, but I like going to the gym enough to where my blood is fucking pumping half the time, dude. And it's very, very rare that I don't end the day like, dude, my juices are fucking flowing, and I have a fucking Rolodex of people that I could fucking pester about this feeling that I have. I don't feel like beating my dick. I need one-on-one contact. I need another person.
The touch of a woman.
Fucking right.
The touch of a woman. It's hard to replace. You know, sometimes you cave, you don't beat off, you know, and you cave. And they come over and they smell great. You know, they're chewing gum, their breath smells good. They look nice, they're dressed comfy. They're, you know, doing the thing with their nails, and it's an irreplaceable feeling.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to get the head scratches, the maybe shoulder rub after you beat off. What are you going to do it to yourself? You know? You can try. It's not going to be as good. So I do understand we all fall short sometimes, and that's okay. But, and you know, this, if you're watching this and you don't get laid, you know, or haven't in a while, or, you know, whatever, it's really not that great. It's not that great.
Pussy is amazing.
The after effect is not that great. Pussy is amazing. Having a relationship with somebody and you know, having them be like a person that you really love and want to be with, and that makes sex great.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Absolutely.
That makes it great. But the empty, like random hookup, just like
sex to nut.
You're not gonna get post nut clarity if you love that person, I'd say, unless you're doing some real kinky weird shit, and you know, like it involves like shit or like throw up or something. Then you might fucking be like, oh my god, what are we doing? Yeah. I mean, you might fall in love with her more. But yeah, so that that's what I was.
So I love that you brought up rubbing the head and rubbing the shoulders, because I got a haircut a couple months ago, and they gave me everything, dude. The neck rub, the shoulder rub.
Where was it? In Manioc or Conshohocken?
It was in Roxborough. Literally, I had to run to Great Clips because I had a million things to fucking do. I don't know if they call it supercut or
Vanessa. You know, Vanessa, the hairstylist, right out of beauty school, all sprayed up, giving you the whole treatment.
Which is pretty much what I went there for. Is like, it's literally just
it's
like
the Hooters for haircuts,
and that's why I was there. But I can imagine being a male barber at a male barber shop. You know, you end up rubbing a lot of dudes' heads. You know, but how like, do you have it in your head like, I need to do this in a way that he doesn't turn around and just blow kisses at me? Or so
I typically don't rub anyone's head. My job is that's pretty extra. Much that's extra. 50. But I think that I just like cut their hair. I'll like style it, but like my hands on their head are strictly to hold it if they're moving around. Like I'll fucking straight like gorilla grip someone's head and then like hold them in place and cut. You know what I mean? But like for the most part, like I'm not doing the rub down like at all. You know what I mean? So I never run into that issue.
Well, dudes also don't go to the men's club thinking that like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so. I do cut a lot of gay dudes.
Just a bunch of disappointed dudes leave. Like,
damn, I didn't get a fucking hand job. But I don't think any of them view me in that way because we just talk about all kinds of shit and we can like level with a lot of stuff because at the end of the day we are just both dudes trying to get a nut, you know? And
no matter where it be.
Yeah, no matter where it be, whether it's like whatever hole you want. And but I don't think they view me in that way. I doubt it. I mean,
well, not that they would or anything, but like you said, like a woman's touch, like just that feeling.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't matter who the woman. So maybe my clients that prefer the presence of men like my very, very mild, swift, you know, touches. Maybe they do. Because I mean,
the way that I enjoyed the touch.
I like being touched by women where it's like my, you know, even a masseuse. She could be like a fucking 68-year-old Vietnamese woman, fucking big as shit, and gives me a great massage. My face is in the pillow. I can't see who that is. She sounds like a woman. She smells nice. It smells nice in the room. She's touching me. It's sensual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I get that. I get the appeal to go to, you know, those salons that are women and, you know, they smell good and fucking, you know, they're flirty and stuff. How was your weekend?
Right. Oh, that's part of the appeal for some places.
Sure. It's like going to Hooters and getting food that you know damn well fucking sucks. But like there's some like 22-year-old with massive tits and a fat ass and she's like pretending like she gives a fuck and they take your order and they sit down and to make you feel more at home.
It's that personal touch.
Yeah, it's that like, oh my god, you're so funny, and you're like, damn, I am funny. Like, holy shit, like wow, it's like going to the strip club and like telling them, your life story and thinking that they're actually retaining.
You can make it in nursing school.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. So,
but the kind of personal touch that I know you provide is the conversation. You're a really fun guy to talk to. You're funny as fuck. But you know that someone's in front of you for at least, 20, 30 minutes minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's all silent, cool. I've had Uber rides that are all silent, and I've appreciated it at times. But there's also times you're like, all right, like, I don't want to sit here awkwardly for 30 minutes. Yeah. But I know you're the type of person to be like, all right, I'm just going to jump in, test some things out, see if you're talking.
Yeah, I throw some testers out there. So, like, usually just ask if any, what's going on the weekend. Where do you work? Do you not work? Oh, okay, working from home, whatever. There's like little things that you could start a conversation. And then after that, the ball's pretty much in their court. If they want to ask me questions back, I might pause for 7 minutes, no questions, just continue my job, and then they might throw something, or I might throw something back at them. But I do like having conversations. It's something I've always been pretty good at. And I've been able to kind of level with like just about anybody, whether, they're a woman or a man or whatever the fuck. And it's just something I've always been able to do. So that, fortunately in my career, that's like a major part of it. Obviously, the haircut part is important. People want to have a good haircut. They're not going to pay you money to look like shit just to talk to somebody. If they want to do that, they'll just go to a psychiatrist.
True.
But so I've been lucky in that area where like, I grew up doing art and stuff, right? So like naturally, like cutting hair was a little bit easier to learn because it's all hands-on. It's just like you're sculpting basically. Right. You're just kind of looking at your medium, which is hair. And then you kind of look at the growth pattern and what shape, what best fits their face shape, their facial hair, everything. So yeah, it was, I lucked out with my career, I'd say, for sure. Like, it just kind of happened. But yeah.
When did it interest you? Because I do know when we were younger, like, there were things that kids do that we're involved in, but you were like an artsier kid, kind of not like, you weren't painting the Mona Lisa, but like you were drawing a lot.
Yeah, so I got into cutting hair from my buddy Justin. You probably know Justin Polisi?
I do.
Yeah, so Justin, he was cutting my hair for a long time since he basically learned how to cut hair in his mom's basement. And so he recommended it to me when I was like 22, and I was just like, like, I don't know. And then like I picked it up like shortly after that. I did an apprenticeship at the barber shop he worked at, which is the men's club. It's been like 6 years of just doing that, so it's been really cool. But yeah, it was like it's a very slow start. It's like, you're not making any money. You don't know how to cut hair. Like, you just don't. You can't just go into it and know what you're doing. It's very difficult.
You might understand the concept.
No, and you're going to mess a lot of people up. It's going to be bad for a while. But then, like, there's something just happens where you just learn just enough, and then you're doing, like, passable haircuts, and then people actually start paying you for them, and then you get good, and then like, what else do you bring to the table? And that's, I'm like a character. I don't know. I just like being a fucking goofy person. Yeah. I can hold a conversation, and I can do a passable haircut, so people are like, oh, this dude's great. Because
as a barber, those are the two things that one's more important than the other.
One's more important than the other, but the other one's not far behind.
Right.
You got to be like a likable person, and be able to do it in a timely fashion because no one wants to wait around, So like punctuality is like super important, conversation, and then obviously skill. So it's like, I fit most of those.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and you do develop how to talk to people over time when you meet a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I was scared shitless at the thought of talking to one person that I didn't know one-on-one, let alone a couple people in fucking person. But I got clean of hard drugs when I was like 23 of like hard shit. And then they said, start doing things that make you feel uncomfortable. So I started, talking to literally everyone I could, eventually did a year of stand-up, but at the end of the day, it's hard as fuck to have that compassion to talk to everybody and anybody who walks in that door. So,
it's hard. Yeah.
But, with your time in recovery, does that help at all with just, talking to literally anybody who walks in the door?
So, with that, like, on my back, it kind of equipped me with, like, the ability to be like compassionate, even for fucking annoying people, or just like be able to listen and not even speak, just like listen to what they're saying. Because when I first got clean, you know, I was the guy who was like super broken. I didn't have shit. And then like as years go by, you acquire some things, you learn about yourself, you learn how to love yourself, the whole fucking nine, you know. And then with cutting hair, you know, and as you get, you know, longer in recovery, you see the guys coming in that were just like you when you first came in, and they're just like talking a mile a minute about how fucked up their life is, and you just want to like be like, bro, like, you know, slow down, but you don't, because you know, you're empathetic and you can listen to what they're saying. So now that translates into my career to where someone might come in and tell me some crazy fucking story, and instead of me like hardly listening and be like, I can actually like engage in conversation with them. As where before, if you were talking about something I didn't feel like hearing about, I'd just like be like, yeah, I don't care. I would just tell you, or I would just not listen or whatever, you know. So it does help a lot. That recovery for me has helped me in every area of my life. And there's a few I haven't let it help, which I should, because obviously, you know, like you put down the drugs and all that stuff, and it's like, what are you left with? You know, and it's just like, there's like
a person who
gambling, women. Yeah, there's like the few things that people like will resort to, which is like usually like gambling, women, stealing, or men, you know, whatever. So like my relationships have been, they could have been better, you know. And I think that if I allowed like the recovery side of the rest of my life into like the relationship side with, you know, women, I think that could be really well. But like I also, my relationship before my last relationship was actually really healthy, and you know, because she was also in recovery. It wasn't until I dated a girl that wasn't in recovery that it got like real crazy, because you know, we're not on the same wavelength. And I'm not saying that like I'm gonna have to marry someone in recovery. I just think
in that scenario,
yeah, it didn't work. It just didn't work in that scenario. You know what I mean? Obviously, didn't work in the scenario before her either with the girl in recovery. But
right. But that particular situation was better.
It was smoother, and our breakup was smooth, and we're actually still friends. You know what I mean? Like we're cool. We don't like talk like, hey, what's up? But like if I see
but you're
her,
not blocked and hate each other.
No, and that's the thing. Like we're cool. Like if I see her, it's like, hey, what's up? You know, how you doing? Good, cool.
That's a good way to be. But
yeah, no, it's
I like that you said that you wish that recovery, like what it helped you with in recovery, that you could allow it to help other aspects of your life. Mm-hmm. Because I know with me, I held it on a pedestal that like I haven't done hard drugs in like this long.
But what else?
Right, exactly. All right, cool. That's one thing you removed from your life, and that's great.
And guess
like
what?
It takes a lot of work.
Normal people don't do hard drugs. You know what I mean? So like, what's your excuse for doing X, Y, and Z? But unfortunately,
there's next steps.
There's absolutely next steps, and it's you know, your character development. You know, and it's just tough because the average person can't have any sort of sympathy because they're not addicted or never were addicted to hard drugs, right? So that you shouldn't do hard drugs in the first place, they'll say, right? Mm-hmm. But then it's like, as like someone who has like an addictive mentality, personality, you know, a lot of people, they don't like when they say like addiction is disease. Like we don't have to say that, but like, let's say you have a really, really addictive tendencies, right?
Yeah.
Anything that makes you feel good or gets you outside of yourself becomes very appealing. And it might not be drugs. It might be fucking shopping. It might be gambling. It might be coffee. It might be buying things. It might be, you know, you
I know people legit do that with Amazon.
Yeah, and are in a whirlwind of debt and can't stop. I can't seem to stop. Like, that's addiction.
Yeah.
That's addiction.
Just because you don't put a needle in your arm doesn't mean you don't have a fucking problem.
Doesn't mean you're not an addict. I think people... They forget when they say like addiction isn't a disease. They think drug addiction isn't a disease. It's like I understand where they're coming from because like, and they often bring it up and compare it to cancer. And we all know someone who died of cancer.
But that's
very different.
It's
very different. So that's like saying anxiety or depression,
or
right?
ADHD,
ADHD isn't, you know, a disease, right? A mental, it's like a mental illness. So addiction is like an obsessive compulsive thing in your head that just tells you you have to do it. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense to somebody that doesn't struggle with it. But like, I've been clean for 7 years, and you know, people wouldn't even know that I'm an addict because, like, I'm not out here fucking stealing and shooting drugs and shit.
Addict tendencies and behaviors.
Exactly. So there's people that are addicts, not drug addicts. They're addicts. I like to just specify just addicts that don't even know they're addicts because they never did drugs. But they've gambled their life savings away. Mm-hmm. They fucked every hooker in fucking Atlantic City.
Can't go an hour without posting a selfie.
Can't go an hour without posting a selfie. Can't, there's so many different categories that addiction falls under. Mm-hmm. Anything that gets you outside of yourself, it's taking control of your life, pretty much. And that could be anything. So, that's like another thing I like to touch on, like the whole addiction side of things, because it's very misconstrued. I feel like people often say, like, you weren't born with a crack pipe in your mouth. We're like, no, that would be a medical mystery.
Yeah.
Nobody was born with a crack pipe in your mouth. No one's born addicted to drugs, but they can be born obsessive and compulsive.
Yeah.
Right? So.
There's a lot of studies they do on that. A friend of mine's wife is a child psychologist. Psychologist, I'm sorry. Sorry, Lee. But, we have conversations like that, and you're right. No one is born drug addicted, except for if their mother was like
smoking crack.
But right, there's no regular baby is born with the tendency of like, I want to go do crack or heroin or whatever. No. It's in your early years and how they grow up that like, all right, they decide there's something in me that I don't have.
There's a void. It's a void.
How am I going to fill this?
Exactly.
And if drugs is something that they pick up and don't.
Eventually, it could start with fucking toys. It could start with food. It could start with
toys. Well, food does. Toys don't have a chemical dependency. Food does. Fucking coffee does. Cigarettes do. Drugs do. So these are the things that people harp on the most. Is like, oh, it's not a disease. Well, yeah, but they're chemically dependent, and it's something that people pick up in their time of despair.
Absolutely, I agree fully.
So I'm glad we could agree on that. There is one last thing I want to ask you about before we end the Godcast. I have a 2021 celebrity Deadpool. People have in the past, and I'm not going to ask this of you, but people in the past have sent me 3 celebrities and the months in which they think they're going to die. Okay. If they get the celebrity right, they get merch. If they get the celebrity and the month right, I'll let them direct their own episode of Joe the Show, like a comedy video. Okay. I want your 3 celebrities that you think could kick the bucket in 2021. Well, for any reason, whether they're old, like for example, for me, I have Bam Margera on my.
That's a good one. I think he's gonna.
I made this back in early December.
Yeah, he looks terrible. Is he clean now?
No, that's why they kicked him off of Jackass.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He looks like shit.
And Daniel, the last person I had on the Godcast, he picked the Queen of England.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. I definitely. Oh man, this is tough. This is tough because there's so many people coming to my mind right now.
Well, you don't want anyone to die, Well, I've gone on record saying that I really wouldn't mind if Betty White died.
She's seen her days.
Thank you.
Betty White was a smoke show back in the day. Fucking thickums. I don't know if you saw an old photo of Betty White. Fucking hot, dude.
There was a fake one floating around, but I've seen.
Oh, that's a fake. That was fake.
There was a fake one. I was like,
God damn, Betty White.
It was so
She was thick as hell.
No, dude, she was a fucking cutie. She wasn't thick as hell, but like, bro, she was hottie. She had her own show for a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
And then fast forward 40 years, and she's on Golden Girls. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Golden Girls is a good show. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's very relaxing. I think it's very.
Oh yeah.
My one ex used to watch Golden Girls, and she put me onto it, and I actually was like, this is kind of funny.
I'd like to thank B. Arthur for being a friend, just not Betty White.
Yeah,
that's all. She was more of a confidant, like an acquaintance.
Oh man. Fuck.
It could literally be anyone who's not a D-list celebrity. Anyone who's been in the news in the past 5 years will do.
Sammy Sosa.
Okay.
Sammy Sosa. I think Sammy Sosa is going to die come fall. So let's call it September.
It wouldn't be out of character to say that one's out of left field.
So Sammy Sosa has drastically changed his skin tone. If you haven't noticed,
did that?
He's white now. He's taking medicine. Apparently he said it's like some disease, but I think off record he said it, or on record he said it was a disease, but I'm pretty sure he's trying to become a white man. And I think that all the chemicals that he's putting in his body he's gonna kick the bucket. He's gonna have a hell of a summer. He's gonna live it up. I think he's either gonna commit suicide from self-hatred or he's gonna overdose on his fucking whitening pills.
Those are the kind of answers and reasons that I look for.
Yeah.
Because like with the Queen, I suspected it's gonna be like a knighting gone wrong.
An old age.
And like the sword's gonna...
And that could be, yeah. I mean,
but Sammy Sosa, what he's going through, that's a real fucking thing. That might happen.
Yeah. I think, now this is kind of controversial, but I think that Joe Biden is going to die this year.
Can I tell you something? You're not the first person to say that.
All right.
You're the first person on the Godcast to say that.
Scratch that. Because I want my own things. I have a
so to get people out of your head, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Angela Lansbury got picked twice for some reason, and the chick Mary Beth from All That.
Oh, I got a perfect one. Orlando, what the fuck is that from That's So Raven? Orlando.
Oh, who was on Dr. Phil.
He's a maniac.
Bro.
He's a maniac.
With the eye contact?
Yeah,
he's on crack?
He is on crack. He's a maniac. He lost his fucking mind. Orlando. I don't know what the fuck his name is, but you all know who I'm talking about.
Orlando Jones, I think.
Yeah, that guy. He's gonna fucking die of a drug overdose in Las Vegas.
Bro, that's a good one.
Yeah, he's gonna die of a drug overdose in Las Vegas, alone in a motel. Probably prostitutes involved. She might even have drugged him, taken what little he had left from That's So Raven. If anything.
Like a full Lamar Odom.
Yeah. Like just brutal, like just ending. And I got one more.
You're really wishing you had a mustache to rub at this point.
Dude, I know I shaved it earlier. I should have kept it. I'm so mad. I looked in the mirror. I'm like, I look like a fucking baby.
I saw your Instagram story. I was like, all right, just one less thing to talk about.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck. I should have waited because it was, someone put me up to it. Oh, man. I know who's going to die. Robert De Niro.
Ooh.
That's going to be a tough one. How he's going to die is he's going to be out at his favorite Italian restaurant, okay? He's going to be scarfing down a breadstick, okay? Someone's going to tell a joke. And you know that laugh he does where his mouth opens, he's like,
That's perfect breadstick size.
You could fit a fucking whole loaf in there. The breadstick's going to get caught in his throat. The breadstick is going to be one of those like pieces that's just a little too well done. It's hard to crunch. Now his mouth is so old. It's about 80-something years old. Right?
As dry as it is.
You know. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be right before Christmas time. So end of this year. Right before Christmas time. He's going to be eating with an old buddy. Maybe Joe Pesci.
I was going to say, Joe Pesci probably cracked a joke. And...
Yeah. And he's going to be like, and then all of a sudden he's going to go, and someone's going to try to perform CPR on him. When they perform the CPR, it's going to crush in his weak, elderly, his external frame. Okay, so now there's no possibility of him living. His rib punctures the lung. He bleeds to death internally.
Because Pesci doesn't know how to do this.
Doesn't know how to do it. He pops one last time. The breadstick goes flying. They think they saved De Niro. Little do they know, he's choking on his own blood. And then he dies in December of 2021 at Little Italy in New York City.
So you heard it here first. If you're at home playing Joe the Show Clue, then it's Joe Pesci in Little Italy with a breadstick. Jake?
No, Robert De Niro.
No, Joe Pesci killed him though.
Oh, he did kill him. Sorry.
Dude, thank you so much for coming the fuck on. Yeah. Is there any shout outs you want to give? Anybody you want to say what's up to?
I just want to shout out my mom. We made it.
Give it up here, man.
I want to shout out to my mom. We made it. We're going to Disney World. No, not really. I don't want to shout anyone. I want to shout out my two dogs, Shorty and Benji. I'm sure they're watching. They're gonna be watching this. I love them. They're my kids, my two kids that I love. Everyone else, go fuck yourself. Thank you.
In typical Joe the Show fashion, we're out of here. Episode 14. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Bang.
Bro.
All right, my boy.
That was perfect.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
I loved it.
Awesome. I think we covered a lot of good shit.
We covered so much.
Yeah. It just kind of flowed. I feel like it was super easy, man.